Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, folks at home. We are out here. We are live in the beautiful Phil Spencer Garden. That's right, folks at home. We're live in the beautiful Phil Spencer Garden. And the time is going to be fairly soon when they pull the curtain back on Starfield on June 11th, which is how many weeks away from now? 2 or 3 weeks? Not too long. Under a month, they're going to pull the curtain back on Starfield, and we're going to get our first brand new look at Starfield. Now, it's come to my attention that we have a lot of Snowy fanboys in here that don't want anything positive said about Starfield, and that's just quite frankly sad. It's toxic, and it's childish. That's really what it is. It's sad because the Snowy fanboys are seething. They don't have great software on that platform. And Starfield is going to be better than Spider-Man 2 could ever be. Now, graphically, Spider-Man 2 is probably going to be on a whole other level. We get that. We understand that. But you have to understand that Starfield is Bethesda. It's Todd Howard's magnum opus. It is a return to form to classic RPGs that are actually worthwhile of playing. It's not these looter shooters in disguises as RPGs. This is going to be a game that's going to float your boat if you are a real gamer. Now, the problem here is that society has changed. ADHD is bigger than ever. And as such, people's attention span is very small, very short, okay? They want to get right into the game. They want to skip all the cutscenes and stuff like that. And granted, you know, most games aren't worthy of sit around and watching those cutscenes because they're fucking boring. They're wannabe movie games. And quite frankly, some of these game developers should have went to Hollywood and they should have just made movies instead because that's what they really wanted to do. Hollywood said no. And as such, they went on to make these nerdy games for these man children, you know? These 40-year-old virgins that do nothing. That's what gaming is. If you play games past the age of 25, you're probably a loser. It's just the reality of it. Like, I hate to say that because, you know, this medium is respectable in some areas. But gaming as a whole is toxic. Gaming as a whole has that negative stigma because, quite frankly, it's a tad bit true. You know, name one gamer that's actually successful. They don't hit the gym. But, you know, and that's why a game like Starfield should exist because it is for those gamers. It's right up that demographic. And it's going to be a game that's going to blow you away. You think Zelda's great? You got terrible taste. Don't know what to tell you. So what we're going to do right here, right now, to wake you guys up, because I know you guys need a little spoon feeding in here. We're going to wake you guys up in a way that makes sense, okay? We're going to launch the poll right now. And I want you to go and vote in the poll. We've launched the poll right now. And I want you guys to wake up and smell your ass. Because I've smelt mine today, and I'll tell you what, it's got flavor. Nonetheless, go ahead and vote in the poll. Go ahead and vote in the poll and tell me what you think about Starfield. We are under a month until they show off Starfield, and hopefully a way that makes sense, and I think a lot of people are going to be blown away. I think a lot of people are going to be blown away when they show off Starfield on June 11th. Next month, a brand new showcase, an entire show dedicated to Starfield. You're going to see the game in its current build, its current state, and you're going to be blown away. Believe me, you're going to be blown away. Now, the fake gamers don't care. Because they're too busy on 4chan, too busy on V specifically, and they're too busy saying, oh, Starfield's going to be trash, Bethesda, Todd Howard, sweet little lies. All these things, okay? They're memeing. That's what they're doing. They're not gamers. They don't play video games. They love talking about them, okay? Over here, I'm going to tell you right here and right now, this is going to be a game for the ages. I won't be wrong. I won't be wrong. You think this game is going to flop? It's not. Now, look, the biased Snowy Games media is going to attack this game with their own narrative. That's what's going to happen. The biased Snowy Games media is going to attack this game with their own narrative, like they always do. Okay, they're going to attack this game with their own narrative. They're going to find these bug compilation videos, and they're going to exacerbate that and pretend like it's doomsday for Starfield, doomsday for Bethesda, doomsday for Xbox Game Pass, and how Phil Spencer ran it into the ground, shit like that. The same old narrative. But they're not real gamers. They like playing these Ghost of Tsushima games where it's just basically a Ubisoft template and brings nothing new to the table. And you watch cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. It's a total...
It's over!
It's a total disaster.
Carbon Owl super chatted $4.99. You play games on easy then complain how the industry is falling. Starfield will flop like every game that was released in the past 3 years.
You know, I could say the same about you. You're a stupid neckbeard in your parents' basement. But I know you wanted to get that message out, and we appreciate the support. And I will tell you this. It's ironic that you said that. It's ironic that you said that because, well, I don't remember why. But nonetheless, I had something to say there, and I forgot what I was going to say. But, you know, look, if you guys have a problem with easy mode, we will ban in here because developers put that mode in for a reason. Okay? If the mode wasn't there, then I could see the argument. I can't see the argument right now. I don't see your gameplay footage because you probably don't have any gameplay footage. So you could take that fake gamer shit back to wherever you came from. Okay? Take that fake gamer shit back to wherever you came from. If you're not hyped for Starfield, in my opinion, you're not a real gamer. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying you have to be in love with this game, okay? But if you're not at least hyped in some capacity for this game, unless you're anti-space or some shit like that, then it just doesn't make sense. I'll tell you that. It doesn't make sense. Troy Sports coming through. That's what we're talking about. Hell yeah, by the way, appreciate that. Member for 12 months. That is what we are talking about. Todd Howard is going to hit that home run. You're going to see on June 11th. I'm tired of talking about this game already because, not that I don't like talking about it, but because you guys are not listening.
SK Super Chatted $5. Starfield W. The reason I bought an Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah, some people get it. Some people get it. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. This is going to be a massive game. This is going to be huge. Bigger than Zelda, obviously. In sheer quantity, it's going to be bigger than Zelda. And the beauty of it is that it's not a $70 game. It's on Game Pass day one. I mean, I don't understand what there's not to like here. Get the hate boner out because I'm sick and tired of seeing it. It's ridiculous. The game's trash. Why do you think it's trash? They're going to show off a brand new updated look at this game and so much more on June 11th in literally under a month, weeks away until this massive showcase. And you have these snowy fanboys in here, you know, hyping up Dead Space Remake and hyping up all these other trash-ass games that weren't new IPs. This is a brand new IP. This is literally years in the making. And I can go on and on and on about why this is potentially going to be great. But you don't want to listen because you want it to fail because you're a Snowy fanboy. And you're just jealous that Snowy has literally nothing. Xbox is going to have a first-party game on their console before PlayStation. That is the truth, and that's not what you want to hear.
Clad in Shadows 99 Super Chatted $5.
That's what we're talking about. Beetlejuice is in the building. Hey, how you doing? Clad in Shadows 99 coming through really hard and really strong. So here's what we're going to do, folks at home. Here's what we're going to do. We've made it simple for you guys to understand in a way that makes sense, and we have put together a slideshow on why this is potentially going to be Game of the Year.
Triadic Bus Super Chatted $5. Mike, maybe I could come over and we can have a sleepover. Men holding hands, men holding hands.
Shut up!
Men holding hands,
Damn.
men holding hands. 1,000 empty worlds. 4 dead cities, men holding hands, men holding hands.
Yeah, 1,000 empty planets, 4 dead cities. Name one good game. I'll wait.
For Todd Howard.
You know, but Zelda Breath of the Wild was
men
so fucking
holding
revolutionary,
hands,
right?
men
And Tears of the
holding
Kingdom was just on
hands,
a whole other
men
planet
holding
compared to that, right? You know, it was the best thing since sliced fucking bread. Yeah, guess what that has? A dead, empty open world. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, just like Elden Ring and all these other open world games that have come in the last 5 to 10 years, have dead, empty open worlds. There's nothing to do in them. And that's the reality of the situation. Duncan, welcome back to the Members Circle. That's what we're talking about. Hell yeah, by the way, appreciate that. Duncan, back into the Members Circle. And I asked earlier, why is this poll tied? We can't have a tied poll. 6 minutes ago, we launched a poll, and I said, are you guys excited for Starfield? So look in the fucking chat right now and answer, you know, are you excited for Starfield or are you not excited for Starfield? Because right now it's tied, and I can't have that. I can't have that because, well, that doesn't do anything for us over here. Look, if you're a fake gamer, I will make shirts that says fake gamer, and you will buy and consume because that's what you do, but you don't play. You know, it's what these PC fanboys do. They buy this shit on Steam, and then they never play. That's fake gamer.
It's over.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Hannibal Lecter coming through.
Hannibal Lecter super chatted €10. Starfield is on Game Pass. What is the issue, fake gamers?
That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. People are I don't get it. They would rather pet. Look, here's the reality of it. Here's the reality of it. I figured it out. The Snowy fanboys are mad that this is not coming to their platform. Period. End of story. If this were coming to PlayStation, they would shill it to the moon and back. Literally. They would shill this to the moon and back if this were only on PlayStation, or even if it was on PlayStation in addition to being on Xbox. But since it's only on the Xbox ecosystem and PC, they don't want to give that the time of day. They don't want to give that the time of day. But the game was obviously being worked on before that happened, before they were acquired by Xbox, Microsoft, right? That's the reality of the situation. But, they don't want to give it any praise because it's not on their platform. And this console fanboy bullshit is just stupid. It's never not going to exist, but it is dumb because, I thought we were in bed and, I thought we were clamoring for great software. I thought we were clamoring for great software, not which box is faster and not which box has, it's ridiculous. It really is. It really is ridiculous.
It's over.
Holy shit, bro. What?
Alistair X super chatted $49.99. To the Sony fangirls. Did you know that Sony was close to making Starfield an exclusive before Xbox bought Bethesda? Ironic, isn't it? There she was just walking down the street. Singing to wah diddy diddy dum diddy do, men holding hands, bear, men holding hands, bear.
Alistair
men
X
holding
is coming
hands,
through
bear,
so hard
men
and
holding
so
hands.
strong.
Starfield will be great.
Well, we certainly hope so. Alistair X coming through really hard and really strong. Hell yeah, brother, we appreciate that. Coming through so hard and so strong. Current king of the jungle, Alistair X, coming through really hard and really strong with a $50 super chat. Hell yeah, brother, we appreciate that. Alistair X coming through so hard and so strong. In fact, so hard and so strong that we're going to pull this up. Ladies and gentlemen, Haunted Ghost Pepper chips from 2021. These are stale. Haunted Ghost Pepper chips from 2021. They are stale, but brand new. And, of course, we're going to wash it down with the strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. Haunted Ghost Pepper chips from 2021. So not only are they terribly hot, but they're fucking stale. And it probably makes it that much fucking better. Alistair X coming through so hard and so strong. That is what we're talking about, baby. Stepping up to the plate and swinging. And as such, we're going to go ahead and open up this in a way that makes sense. Hell yeah, brother, we appreciate that. We appreciate everyone that has come through and supported the show here today. Haunted Ghost Pepper chips right here from 2021. I don't even know how long ago that was, 2 or 3 years ago. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and make it happen in a way that makes sense. The strawberries and cream as well to wash this shit down. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lift off. I'm a snow. It doesn't smell right. Guys, these are 100% natural. So they will go bad because they don't, no preservatives, they're dead. I mean, it's actually stale. There are no preservatives in this. There's no artificial flavors. There's no artificial ingredients. This is as organic as it gets, baby. And I'm going to tell you what, this shit is officially stale. Because there are no preservatives, there are no artificial flavors, and there are no artificial ingredients. And as such, this is stale. And it ain't going to taste good. But let's go ahead and give it a shot here. Oh. This is the real deal. Like, it doesn't even look right. It looks pale. I don't remember the chips looking like this. It looks pale. Guys, these chips are stale. They're from 2021. And again, no preservatives, no artificial flavors, and no artificial ingredients. 2021 chip, Haunted Ghost Pepper, going in. Damn, that shit hot.
It's over!
How could a chip be stale? I mean, it.
Big Boss 6568 super chatted £5. It's time to divorce your wives. Starfield is coming and I'm ready to date Todd Howard. Bear, bear, bear. Men holding hands, pride flag, rocket, 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 Milky Way, comet, satellite, rocket, Milky Way, comet.
It's over!
SK super chatted $5. Todd Howard's next big 200 hours. Years of value versus 14 hours Snowy woke Marvel movie game.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. Big Boss at SK coming through. Hell yeah, brother.
It's over!
Snurfk super chatted $10. Zelda is a great walking simulator. Great way to make a 20-hour game 60 hours. Rip Starfield Gutty Taddy Howard 1.
It's trash! Gary from the Vault coming through. Hell yeah, brother. We appreciate it. Let's take a look at that poll, folks. If you're just joining us, Starfield is going to be potentially Game of the Year, and you heard it here first. And we're going to show you why here in just a moment. We're going to show you why here in just a moment. Oh, it tastes like shit. Oh my God. Let's take a look at that poll. Let's take a look at that poll here. And the stupid idiots in here said they're not excited for Starfield. What a surprising result. Well, here's why you should be excited for Starfield. Are you ready? Here's why you should be excited for Starfield. And guys, they were stale on top of being hot. Okay, so it makes it 20 times worse because the taste isn't there. I don't even know. I mean, it is actually. Here's why you should be. Here's why you should be excited for Starfield. We're going to show you, because you guys aren't listening out here. So as such, we made a visual showcase on why Starfield is potentially going to be Game of the Year. You guys ready? Are you guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, roll it. And here we go. Starfield, potentially Game of the Year. Look at this right here. Todd Howard's magnum opus, bro. Over 1,000 explorable planets. 4 major cities. Bigger than ever. More dialogue than Fallout 4. Creation Engine 2.0. Next-gen consoles only. And in my opinion, the best of all, Game Pass Day 1. Starfield potential Game of the Year contender Todd Howard's magnum opus. Over 1,000 explorable planets. 4 major cities bigger than anything they've ever done before. More dialogue than Fallout 4. Creation Engine 2. Next gen only, not Xbox One. Game Pass Day 1. Now you sit there and tell me what's not to like about this recipe here. Because I'd love to hear the contrarian take to this. And I know there's contrarian takes from the Snoy fanboys and fake gamers all across the globe. But I'm going to tell you what right here and right now. When Todd Howard delivers, you're going to be blown away. Okay? It's as simple as that. When Todd Howard delivers, you're going to be blown away. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Again, potential Game of the Year contender, potential Game of the Year right here, Starfield, over 1,000 explorable planets, 4 major cities, bigger than anything they've ever done before in terms of the city size, from what we've heard, more dialogue than Fallout 4. There's a lot of dialogue in that game. They love to yap. More dialogue than Fallout 4. Creation Engine 2. So a brand new edition of their Creation Engine, a new iteration of their previous engine, Creation Engine. This is the 2.0 version. Next gen only. So Xbox One is not going to hold it back. And it's on Game Pass Day 1. I absolutely do not understand, outside of blind hate, why you could look at this package and say, I'm not interested. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But we know that the Snoy fanboys, are going to perpetuate the idea that this is a $70 game because it is going to be on Steam for probably $70 or $60, whatever the price may very well be. But regardless, they're going to perpetuate and run with that narrative that this is a full-price game. And when they find a few bugs, they're going to exacerbate those bugs and say that Xbox is trash and Phil Spencer needs to be out and this, that, and the third and how they have no games. And that entire narrative is going to come back into the kind of circulation because the Snoy fanboys are so jealous that the only game the Snoy fanboys have right here this year is Spider-Man 2. And that's launching after Starfield. Forspoken is not a first-party title, but it was a PlayStation 5 console exclusive. The Sony fanboys are seething because they have no software, and quite frankly, they are jealous that they're not going to be able to play Starfield on their PlayStation console. But mind you, like that, Super Chatter just said earlier, I believe that Sony was looking to capture this one here, Starfield, and say this is our exclusive at one point. So at one point, Starfield was going to be on PlayStation. Obviously, Xbox, Phil Spencer stepped in and said, hey, we want this whole thing. And now it's only on the Xbox ecosystem and PC. But this is why Starfield is potential game of the year. And again, this is just the tip of the iceberg here. Over 1,000 explorable planets. Now, you want to argue those planets are going to be empty. How do you know that? Have you played the game? Did Todd Howard invite you to Bethesda Studios? He certainly didn't. So go fuck off. Because that's bullshit. You can't just sit there and say that, oh, the planets are going to be empty. And even if they are, you guys love shilling No Man's Sky. You guys love shilling No Man's Sky, don't you? Yeah, you do. You guys love shilling No Man's Sky. And that has a bazillion trillion empty planets that are literally soulless. There's no reason to explore outside of looking at stupid fucking bullshit that you've already seen, just in a different configuration, because that's all it is. It's a fucking seed generator in No Man's Sky. It's as soulless as it gets. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing that here. I don't work at Bethesda. I don't know what Bethesda is doing, but we're going to get a better look at this game on June 11th, which is under a month from now. You don't have to wait until September to understand if this is going to be the next big game that we're going to be talking about for years to come, or something that gets the flavor of the month special. But again, over 1,000 explorable planets, 4 major cities. These are cities that are bigger than any other thing they've ever done before, believe me. More dialogue than Fallout 4, okay? More dialogue than Fallout 4. Creation Engine 2, next gen only, and it's on the best part about all of this package right here, Game Pass Day 1. So even if this turns out to be the next Bethesda blunder, and it's not all it's cracked up to be, or it has problems at launch and they need more time in the oven with this game, guess what, folks? It is on Game Pass Day 1. You'll be able to literally play this game for what, $1? As it's on Game Pass Day 1.
It's over.
You guys need to wake up. The Snoy fanboys are not listening.
The Great Reset of the Human Race super chatted $5. Starfield will be 10/10 because it will come inside Game Pass Day 1 with penis and the men holding hands.
Shut up!
Moon viewing ceremony, watermelon, green apple.
You guys don't even play video games. You have to understand.
Star, penis, star, backhand.
Okay, whatever, dude.
Penis,
you know what? Just tell your mother I said hi. I know she was lonely yesterday on Mother's Day, and you didn't do anything for her. And she said, hey, I want to go out to eat sushi. And I said, honey, I will take you to go out and eat sushi because, no one else will. And she never texted back. Nonetheless, you guys aren't listening. If this were only on PlayStation, you bet your ass they would be shilling it. That's what would be happening right now. And you want to say, well, Michael, if this were only on PlayStation, wouldn't you be hating on this trash? No, it's Bethesda. The last mainline Bethesda game was Fallout 4. And look, maybe that wasn't that fantastic. But you mean to tell me that Todd Howard hasn't learned from that experience? Oh, he has. And that's why Starfield is potentially Game of the Year. Over 1,000 explorable planets, 4 major cities, bigger than any cities they've ever done in any game. More dialogue than Fallout 4. You guys are not ready for this game. It's quite evident and it's quite apparent. Creation Engine 2.0, next gen only, Game Pass Day 1. This is a game for nerds. This is a game for actual gamers. And to be quite frank, that number is pretty fucking small. This is going to be a game that puts Bethesda back on the map. But honestly, I think the game is going to be too good if everything plays out in a way that makes sense. I think the game might be just too fucking good that it actually doesn't have the big appeal factor because it caters and panders too much to the hardcore audience that wants that deep, classic RPG to return. Because the last RPG game that we played, I don't even know when that came out. They don't make RPGs anymore. They make looter shooters under the guise of RPGs. They do not make RPGs anymore. Every game is a looter shooter. That's all it is. That's all it is these days. You shoot the enemies, the numbers come out. That's not an RPG. Oh, you can customize your character a little bit and customize your weapons. That's not an RPG. A role-playing game is very different than a looter shooter that wants to be so much more than a looter shooter. I'm tired of playing Destiny reskinned over and over and over and over again. No one wants to play Destiny. That game is trash. That franchise is absolute shit. And the whole looter shooter craze has taken over. Those are not RPGs. Cyberpunk is not an RPG. It's not. Cyberpunk is not an RPG. It is a linear looter shooter under the guise of an RPG. Now, maybe with Cyberpunk 2 in the next decade, when that comes out, maybe they'll deliver on what they initially promised and that true, deep RPG for hardcore gamers. The Witcher 3 is more of an RPG than Cyberpunk. But I would argue that The Witcher 3 is not a great RPG. What makes an RPG is if the gamer is immersed into that world. You want the player to feel like they're jumping into an entirely different world and they want to spend time in that world with interaction, with customizable components, dialogue that makes sense, that feels organic. You have to understand that they do not make deep RPGs anymore. It's as simple as that. They don't make deep RPGs anymore. But you guys don't want them because you're like, well, fuck that shit. We want to play them looter shooters, Michael. We just can't wait to play the next Destiny. Elden Ring's a trash game. Elden Ring is not an RPG. Don't come in here and defend Elden Ring because it's absolute slop. Elden Ring is not an
It's
RPG.
over.
Elden Ring is not an RPG.
Bald Lesbian super chatted $4.99. Oh Mackle, Starfield simply cannot be Game of the Year when Zelda came out this year.
It's
Surely
already
an
forgotten
honorable
about.
mention though. Bless the princess and her European
It's already forgotten
castle.
about. Guys, they made the same game. How could you say that Zelda is Game of the Year when they've made Breath of the Wild? And that came out in 2017. They added in the Gmod now, this Minecraft stuff, and everyone's like revolutionary. Well, it is to the Nintendo bubble. It is Game of the Year to the Nintendo bubble. But outside of that Nintendo sphere, I don't believe it's Game of the Year. Because the year's not over. How could anything be Game of the Year? And in fact, we go back to the point, in my opinion, there has not been one good game this year that has released. And I played all of the big ones. I played them all. Yeah, including Tears of the Kingdom. And that's thanks to Bald Lesbian. And look, I'm not saying that game is bad. It's great for the Nintendo bubble. But I'm not interested in roaming around empty fields and you just slash, climb towers, do this, that, and the third. And it's just too much busy work for me. It's too much busy work for me with the health system, with the energy system, whatever the fuck they got going on. There's meters for everything. It's a chore to do anything in that game. And if you like that, that's fantastic. Have fun with it. That's your Game of the Year for everyone that's in that bubble. Fantastic. But Starfield is looking more and more like a mature RPG, a deep classic Bethesda title. And when Bethesda hits that home run, you fucking know they hit that home run. Morrowind, people still talk about that game. Oblivion, people still talk about that game. Some people don't like Skyrim and Fallout 4, sure. But with that said, they make iconic classic titles. And like I said, I have not played one good game this year, okay? I'm being dead ass with you. I played mostly all of the releases from January all the way up until now, and they have all been flavor of the month titles. They have all been serviceable, palatable titles that last about 4 days, if that, and then you move on to the next game. And quite frankly, that's inexcusable. Quite frankly, that is inexcusable because nothing that has released this year has actually brought anything new to the table, including Zelda. What game this year brought something new to the table? The best game that I played this year is a game that didn't come out this year. And it was called Iron Lung. I really enjoyed my time with Iron Lung. It's an indie game. You're on a submarine, and it's a very different game. But it was interesting. It was very interesting. That's my game of the year so far. Didn't even come out this year, but it's a game that I played this year. So you want to know my game of the year? Iron Lung. Iron Lung is my game of the year because I actually had to use my brain, and it was fascinating. It was interesting to see if I could make, the submarine get to the destination without seeing how to fucking do it. You have to maneuver the submarine through the depths of the fucking ocean on planet Mars or some shit using coordinates. You don't see where the ship is at on the map, so you got to use the coordinates and match it up. And it gets tense and it gets kind of scary at times when, you don't get to see what's outside of the fucking submarine. So that creates an entire barrier and in intensiveness that is with the player from beginning to end. So that's the best game that I played this year. Every other release has been absolute garbage. But Starfield, there is hope. Starfield, there is hope. Over 1,000 explorable planets. This is better than No Man's Sky, and I'm tired of that comparison. I'm done with that comparison. Starfield has nothing to do with No Man's Sky, okay? They are very, 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 very different games. If you disagree, you are a troll. They are very different games, bro. No Man's Sky is nothing like Starfield. No Man's Sky is nothing like Starfield, okay? Let's get that out of the system now. No Man's Sky is nothing like Starfield, okay? In addition, do not compare this game. This is Bethesda. This is the A-Team. This is veteran game developers on this game. This is a veteran studio. Do not disrespect this classic, iconic game studio that has been around for decades, pumping out classics. And you know they're capable. Don't sit there and say they're not. I'm sick of this narrative from the stupid idiots because it's trash. It makes zero sense, and as such, throw it in the garbage because you guys are not listening, and it's the saddest it's ever been. Do not compare this game, as such, do not compare this game to The Outer Worlds. That is a trash game that does not need to be compared to this. It is not on the same caliber as Bethesda Game Studios, okay? I don't care if it's Obsidian. I played The Outer Worlds, and it is trash. The Outer Worlds is trash. It is a $5 game bin. It's a game that you would find in the $5 game bin. The Outer Worlds is trash. Okay. This game has nothing to do, it is not comparable to No Man's Sky. This game is going to be literally light years above and beyond The Outer Worlds. Do not compare Starfield to those two games because, quite frankly, you are wrong. And you are undervaluing this classic, iconic games studio. Todd Howard is the best in the world. And I truly believe that Starfield is going to be great. In fact, it's going to be so great, it's going to be sleeper hit of the fucking year. And that is actually upsetting because this would be so fucking fantastic if it were this massively successful game. But it can't be because the PlayStation fanboys and, of course, the biased Snoy Games media, they have a hate agenda for this game. They have a hate agenda for Xbox and anything positive that Xbox does, and they don't want to hear it. So you will see the narrative come out very shortly. On June 11th, you will see the narrative from the PlayStation fanboys emerge. And they will compile clips from the showcase, and they will say, wow, this is trash, and wow, the frame rate's still not where it needs to be. And they will continue to complain and complain and complain, all while they have no software. No software. Spider-Man 2 is not out until later this year, and there's zero gameplay of Spider-Man 2. Zero gameplay of Spider-Man 2. We have literally more gameplay of Starfield than we do Spider-Man 2. I need you guys to lock in here. And I need you guys to understand that literally Todd Howard is potentially going to be the savior of this industry that is continuing to crash on a daily basis. We are looking at potentially the savior of gaming in the modern climate. Todd fucking Howard. He is ready to deliver his magnum opus, and you're going to see it come to fruition in literally less than a month. And I've heard a brand new rumor, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard a brand new rumor that they called in the guys that did Doom Eternal to help with combat and stuff like that. I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, it's a testament to how they care about quality. And I truly believe that when you see the new showcase for this on June 11th, you are going to be blown away. It is going to be light years ahead of last year's showcase. And to be totally honest with you, last year I was disappointed with Starfield. And I put Starfield on the back burner. And I said, well, I don't care about Starfield anymore. Not only is it delayed, but what they showed didn't look impressive.
I steal popular names for likes. Super chatted $5. The No Man's Sky dev team was like 10 people.
Exactly, it's Hello Games. And that's the point that I made. That's the point that I made.
50 times detail, and it's so incredibly sad.
That's the point that I made. They were hyping up No Man's Sky to the moon and back when that came out because Sean Murray was telling them everything they wanted to hear. But Sean Murray didn't have experience to back up anything that he was saying. They made Joe Danger before No Man's Sky. Joe fucking Danger. Name 5 people that you know that played Joe Danger. Literally no one played Joe Danger. So I came out of the woodwork a month before and I said No Man's Sky is going to be the biggest blunder of gaming at that particular time. And it was. It was a total fucking snooze fest. You roam around and, hey, there's another planet. Wow, we get it. You got a big game here. But there's nothing to do in here that's actually fucking fun. Because fun wasn't a part of that game. And it still isn't. I would argue No Man's Sky is still garbage. It's a bunch of busy work. It's busy work the game. Hey, you want to take your spaceship to planet Mars? Wow. Oh, wait, you can't do that, right? It doesn't have the Milky Way. It's got its own thing. I don't even know. I don't remember. It's got 1 trillion fucking planets. Regardless, the problem with No Man's Sky is that it's a glorified, over-glorified tech demo with nothing fun in it. It's a chore simulator. That's what it is. Collect shit for your ship, collect resources, and I'm sure you're doing that a little bit here in Starfield. But this is Bethesda. This is Bethesda. This is Skyrim. This is Oblivion. This is Fallout. And I'm sick and I'm tired of these stupid PC fanboys that are saying, well, Starfield's going to be trash compared to my mod right here that I created to help you using Chat GPT. I've never seen a pussy before. I'm a total fucking virgin, and I'm 45 years old in my parents' basement. No one cares! Let's reiterate because I know not a damn person in here is listening. Starfield is potentially Game of the Year. These are the cold, hard facts that the Snoy fanboys don't want you to see. Because they're jealous. Quite frankly, that's what it ultimately boils down to. Over 1,000 explorable planets. Literally a fact. 4 major cities. Bigger than any cities they've ever done before. Fact. You can look it up for yourself. More dialogue than Fallout 4. Fact. Creation Engine 2.0. A brand new updated iteration of the previous Creation Engine, which is Creation Engine, I'm assuming, 1.0. Next generation, which was used in Fallout 4 for the very first time, I believe. Next gen only. And the beauty of it all. The beauty of this all. I need you guys to lock in. Game Pass Day 1. You can't beat it.
Triadic Bus super chatted $5. We all know you wanna play with Todd Howard's penis.
Shut
men
up!
Holding hands, men holding hands, men holding hands.
Whatever, dude.
Men holding hands. Sad that you're shilling No Man's Sky 2. Men holding hands, men holding hands, men holding hands, men holding hands. 1,000 dead planets. 4 mediocre cities, men holding hands, men holding hands, men holding hands, men holding hands.
You guys would rather play a 15-hour movie game from the biased Snowy Games media than you would this classic RPG. They don't make name the last great RPG. Doesn't exist. They do not make RPGs anymore. Look at Oblivion. Look at Oblivion and tell me what game is similar to that came out in the last 5 years. Doesn't exist. Literally does not exist. Doesn't exist. They don't make RPGs anymore. They make looter shooters that are live service games in disguise. Cyberpunk is not an RPG. It is a looter shooter. So that doesn't count. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that's Ubisoft grind. That ain't no RPG. And if it is one, it's certainly one that I don't want to fucking play. Name one RPG in the last 5 years. Doesn't exist. They do not make RPGs anymore. Fallout 4 is an RPG. Didn't come out 5 years ago. It came out 6 years ago, I believe. So, and we understand that Fallout 4, in my opinion, I quit playing Fallout 4 because it just didn't feel like it was totally there. It felt a little watered down. And I think they sacrificed stuff to kind of improve the overall graphical fidelity and the new cutscenes. That was a big thing. The new cutscenes, the conversation cutscenes looks like a fucking movie now. These are things that people don't understand because they don't really care about these things because game design is not sexy, and game design, in my opinion, needs to be sexy. Let's stop prioritizing frame rate and resolution, and let's start having fun, and let's start developing AI systems that are actually expanding. Let's start developing things that are just so much better than they currently are. And, that's what needs to happen in order to progress games. But you guys want to focus on graphics. You guys want to focus on frame rate. You guys want to focus on all this buzz bullshit. And guess what? It blows ass. This is why the games industry is literally in the shape that it's in, because you guys don't like the nuts and bolts. You don't like the framework of these games. You just want to sit there and say, well, my game runs at 60 frames and I'm happy, but I'm not playing it, and I'm going to shill for it on this website here because we have nothing better to do because the game is actually boring. And that's the reality of it. It's the reality of it. They don't make RPGs anymore, and this is what you need to know and understand. This is going to be the biggest game of this year. Absolutely, hands down. It might not be the most popular. I don't think Starfield is going to be popular. I really don't. I really don't believe this game is going to be that popular. I'm not kidding. It's not going to be more popular than Spider-Man 2. It's not going to be more popular than Zelda. This game is not going to be... it's going to be popular, okay? Don't get me wrong. But it's not going to be on the Call of Duty level. It's not going to be on the Skyrim level. It's not going to be on the Oblivion level because it's tethered to one ecosystem, which is Xbox and PC, and that's it. But that's great because it's on Game Pass day one. It's on Game Pass day one. There is not a $60, $70 price of admission because guess what, folks? It is on Game Pass day one. Now, the biased Snowy Games media, they know that this is already on Steam, and they're just waiting for this damn game. They're waiting for this damn game to release in September so they can go over there and one-star this shit and say it's trash. And it has mostly negative reviews. And it's a buggy, broken mess. Guys, I can predict this shit a mile away. I can predict this shit a mile away how the Snowy fanboys are going to act because they are jealous that they cannot handle a classic deep RPG like Starfield is no doubt going to be. And again, they're going to pull the curtain back. Todd Howard is ready to pull the curtain back on June 11th. On June 11th, they're going to show us a brand new look. And if that rumor is true, that they had help from the Doom Eternal guys to make the combat better and shit like that, then we might be talking about something truly fucking special here. No shit, the game's going to have bugs. Every game has bugs. But what you have here on the internet today is you have everyone that has a voice, you have everyone that has a platform, you have everyone that can just kind of come at shit with however, it's just one of these fucking things. There is not a YouTube channel that covers video games that is truly fair and balanced. It doesn't exist. Digital Foundry is not fair and balanced. Okay? I can't think of one YouTube channel that covers video games that is actually truly fair and balanced. It literally does not exist. It's either opinionated slop, or it's this, channel is leaning towards PlayStation, or this channel is leaning towards Nintendo, or this channel is leaning towards Xbox. That's what you have. You can't find one honest, fair and balanced video games review channel. So as such, the Snowy fanboys are ready. They're ready to pounce on Starfield if it indeed stumbles. And that's quite frankly sad. I thought gamers were all going to come together and say, yeah, we want great quality software. I thought gamers were in the mindset of that. But it's not like that. It's not like that. The stupid idiots in this industry were praising the fact that E3 was canceled. They were literally clapping, like they stood up and clapped, like, oh yeah, fuck E3. Like, you literally canceled a celebration of games. It doesn't make sense. The toxicity in this industry is beyond, it's sad, It's tribal shit. It's fucking ridiculous is what it is. I mean, I root for Xbox, even though they got trillions of dollars, because the biased Snow Games media won't give them a chance.
I steal popular names for likes super shattered $5.
It's as simple as that.
Fallout 4, 111,000 lines of dialogue. Starfield, 250,000 lines of dialogue. Todd Howard is the most attractive man alive. He turned me homosexual.
It just works, baby. If you're not excited about this game, I mean, I found Oblivion. I have Oblivion on 360, and I'm ready to pop that bitch in tonight. Like, we're going back to Oblivion, baby, because the software that releases today is trash. It is absolute garbage. And Nintendo said, hey, come out and buy this thing, a game that you already bought in 2017 for $70 with a few modifications. Really? And this is a game. More dialogue than Fallout 4. 4 major cities, over 1,000 explorable planets. And this is a game, with all that said, and that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. There's a lot that we don't know about this game. And that's what's so fun. And that's what's so exciting. Is that there's still a mystery to Starfield. But we're getting all of this on Game Pass day one. So again, there's not that $60, $70 barrier. Because if the game is a broken, buggy mess, it's on Game Pass day one. How could you say no to this? You are an anti-gamer if you look at this and say, well, I'm not interested. Quite frankly, that's the reality of it. Because what I'm seeing here is it's a win for gamers, it's a win for Bethesda, and it's a win for Xbox. This is a W all around because it's on Game Pass day one. So even if the quality maybe isn't there at launch, if that is the case, we don't know. But if that turns out to be the case, it's on Game Pass day one. So you don't have to go out and buy it. Just like Redfall. The biased Snowy Games media came out, and they said that Redfall was a $60 game. Why would you spend $60 on a game that you can get on Game Pass? Why would you do that? That makes literally no sense. That makes no sense. Literally, it makes, because you're a fan of Gabe on Steam. You love Steam and you love that Steam monopoly. And you just want to kiss its ass some more. So you want to own the game on Steam. So you spent you spent $70 on Redfall. Well, I wouldn't. If the game's on Game Pass and I can play it on Game Pass, that's the road I'm taking. I'm going to Game Pass. I don't need to own my game on Steam. I don't need to own my game on Epic. I don't need to own my game on Ubisoft Play. I don't need to, own my game on EA Play. Who gives a shit? If it's on the damn service and it's cheaper and it's readily available, they can kiss my ass and foot. But here's the kicker. If this game is that damn good, and if Todd Howard truly delivers, in every single avenue, in every single department, I will buy this game for $70. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know, once it's confirmed that 30 frame, the biased Snowy Games media is ready. You understand that, right? The biased Snowy Games media is ready. Because once it gets announced that this game is only running at 30, oh, man. Once Starfield once they officially come out and say, hey, by the way, this is at 30 frames on Series X, it's over. It's over. Because the biased Snowy Games media is ready. They probably have their articles already written, ready to publish whenever that gets officially announced. How inexcusable it is, for a game like Starfield to run at 30 frames on Series X. That's just totally inexcusable. What happened to the 12 teraflops and all this stuff, right? That's the narrative that they're going to run with. And quite frankly, I don't care what frame rate. Dude, I looked at Zelda Tears of the Kingdom runs at like 24 frames in certain spots. You can go watch the Digital Foundry assessment. Join the Fake Gamers and watch that Digital Foundry assessment. But you have to understand that none of that shit matters. It doesn't. Star Wars Jedi Survivor runs like trash. Still does. Still haven't fixed that. Especially on PC. Game runs like trash, and yet everyone shilled it. Well, to me, that wasn't the problem with the game. I mean, it was kind of concerning because it did drop pretty freaking low. But the problem with the game is that it's the same game that I've already played over and over and over again for the last 5 to 10 years, 15 years. I'm ready to go back to Oblivion at this point. That's the state of this industry, the absolute state of this industry. It has no software that's compelling. It has no software that's actually worthwhile. It's the same regurgitated crap over and over and over again. And I know what the Bioshock Snowy Games media is saying in here right now because there's PlayStation fanboys in here. They are saying that this is just Skyrim in space or Fallout in space. That's what they're saying. So therefore, it's not anything new. This is a brand new IP. And that's one thing I forgot to put on here. It's a fucking brand new IP from Bethesda. It is a brand, and that's why people don't like it. Because not only is it not on PlayStation, not only is it tethered to the Xbox ecosystem, but it's a brand new IP. And new IPs, quite frankly, don't do well. Name one new IP that actually did well. Oh, wait. Hi-Fi Rush? Doubt it. Forspoken? Nope. Name one new IP that actually... Oh, Horizon Forbidden West? Horizon, I guess. 5-6 years ago, whenever that came out. But really all they did was said, hey, well, we have this theme, we have this character, we have this story, and we're going to look at a Ubisoft template and copy and paste those game mechanics into our game and call it a day. Ghost of Tsushima, I guess you could say. But the only reason why that was a success is because it was only on PlayStation and because it was beautiful and the graphics. And guess what? That game only ran at 30 frames. All of your favorite games that you said were Game of the Year just 4 or 5 years ago, they were all running at 30 frames. Every game that released on PlayStation 4 ran at 30. Didn't run at fucking 60. I think gamers are just forgetting. Gamers are forgetting, well, the PlayStation fanboys are forgetting, that all of their favorite classic movie games all ran at 30 frames. Death Stranding didn't run at 60 on PS4. So all of those games are trash? But Michael, you don't understand. Series X is a next-gen console, and it should be up to par with hitting 60. It's totally inexcusable. Guys, you have to understand that Starfield is a classic RPG. You have to understand that this is a massive game. This is bigger than Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is going to be way bigger than that game, and that game's pretty fucking big. Let's not, beat around the bush. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a 100-hour game. This is going to be vastly superior to that in terms of quantity. It is going to be vastly superior to Tears of the Kingdom in terms of quantity, as it has over 1,000 explorable planets, more dialogue than Fallout 4, more major cities, and it goes on and on and on. And again, it's on Game Pass day one. What's not to love?
Devo super chatted £5. It's over, Michael. It's so sad. When will these fake gamers understand that the game industry is doomed and has been for years? It's over. She don't love.
Well, I mean, Oblivion came out in 2006, 7. You know what I mean? And, I'm actually excited to jump back into that. And we're playing the vanilla version on Xbox Series X. I'm putting the disc in from the 360. I got the disc when I bought it back in 2006 or 7, whenever it came out, I think 2006. Because it came out right when the Xbox 360 launched, just soon after that, and it was the big fucking game. I mean, imagine, bro. Imagine if we had quality software like that releasing. I mean, these consoles have been out for 3 years, and there's still nothing to play on either of them. And that's why I think Starfield is going to be that big game changer where it's like, wow, let's sit down and actually play this game. Let's sit down and actually say, yes, we're going to give this game our full undivided attention. because this is a classic RPG from a classic game studio, Todd Howard. Oh, but let's meme about the Todd Howard lies. And, Todd Howard said this about that, and Todd Howard said that about this. And, oh my God, Michael, remember when he said there were 300 endings in Fallout 3? It was taken out of context. Look it up. I did the research. I looked it up, and I said, whoa, that's not what Todd Howard meant. It was taken out of context. Ha ha! So when did Todd Howard lie? He never lied. Oh, 16 times the detail? Can you prove that's a lie? Don't think you can. Todd Howard never lied. What is he supposed to do on stage? Say his game's trash? Unreal. These PlayStation fanboys are just, quite frankly, unreal. You have to understand that Todd Howard is the best in the world at what he does. The impact that he's made on this industry, the legacy of his studio, Bethesda, and just the franchises speak for themselves. If Starfield is a classic, then can you imagine the next Elder Scrolls? Can you imagine the next Fallout? Yeah. It's time to get excited and hyped, because Bethesda might very well be back up on that fucking throne, like they should very well be. Guys, Fallout 76 is not made by the A-team at Bethesda. I believe there's 2 teams at Bethesda, and they did not make Fallout 76. The A-team didn't. Todd Howard didn't do anything with Fallout 76 outside of producing it. And that's very different from directing the game. That's very different from any other role. So you need to wake up and understand that this is the biggest game of this year so far. Absolutely. Bigger than Zelda, because we've already played Zelda. That's the thing with Zelda. If Zelda were all new, I would argue that Zelda is crazy, crazy good. But it's not all new. It's been there and done that with a few additions and improvements. And yes, it takes what everyone already loved and makes it great, or even better. And that's fantastic. And within that Nintendo bubble, absolutely it is Game of the Year. But if you're not in that Nintendo bubble, and quite frankly, a lot of people aren't. That's a hardcore Nintendo game. I don't think people are buying a Switch just for Zelda. I mean, some people are. But with that said, I think it does have limited reach because it is within that Nintendo bubble. And it's hard to get out of that Nintendo bubble. So in terms of Game of the Year, I don't know if this game has competition in the sheer magnitude of this game. I just don't believe that this game is going to have any competition in the sheer magnitude and scope and size of Starfield. Spider-Man 2 is probably going to be right back in New York City. And unless they have interiors for every fucking building, that isn't going to compare. I don't care, bro. This is going to be a game that we're going to be talking about for years and years to come. I'm telling you. I have confidence in this game. And especially, again, if that rumor is true, that they got some people over from Doom Eternal, I think. Who made the Doom games? Tech ID or something. I don't even know what the fuck the studio's called. Doom Eternal. Because the new rumor is ID Software. Close. ID Software. The new rumor is that they called up some guys over at ID Software to come in and refine this combat here in Starfield. So what you saw last year, and to be fair, my impressions last year were really not good for this game. I sat there and I said, well, I don't care about this game anymore. I threw this game on the back burner and I said, well, first of all, they delayed it 1 month before they showed it. They delayed Starfield 1 month before the showcase last year. And I said, well, this game isn't going to be great. There's no fucking way. If they had the confidence to say, whoa, wait a minute, pump the brakes 1 month before they show it off, they knew this was not where it needed to be. However, we are here 1 year later, and I truly believe what they show off this year is going to be very, very much so better and different than what they showed off previously. I really do believe that. And I think it's going to be a fantastic showcase. I really do. In fact, it's going to be so good that people are going to lose interest in this game. I'm not kidding. This is a hardcore game for classic RPG players. And there's not many of them. This is a niche. Absolutely. This is a game. Bethesda's coming back. That's what you have to understand. Guys, I'm not a shill. I'm just telling you like I see it right now. And again, if they pull the curtain back on June 11th and the game is still not where it needs to be, first of all, I'm going to be surprised. And second of all, I'll come out and say, well, maybe it needs to be on Game Pass. And that's where it belongs. Not that Game Pass is a terrible service, but, you know, if the game is crap, I'd rather have it be on Game Pass so I don't have to go out and spend 60, 70 bucks on the game. I think anyone would agree. But at the end of the day, I believe in Starfield, and I believe that this game is going to bring back this classic experience that so many have been clamoring for. If you boot up Skyrim, if you boot up Oblivion, if you boot up Morrowind, if you boot up even Fallout 4 to some extent, you're going to have that experience. You're going to have that experience. And this is a brand new IP from Bethesda. A brand new IP from Bethesda. So it's even more exciting because we're not just getting another Skyrim. We're not just getting another Elder Scrolls. We're not just getting another Fallout. So this is all new. But that's why you guys don't like it, because you're conservative. You're like, well, fuck that new IP shit. What's Starfield? These factions fighting in space? That's boring. I don't want to sit around and explore them planets, Michael. That's going to be a snooze fest, Michael. That's going to be a snooze fest. You roam around them planets, there ain't nothing to do on them planets. Yeah, because there was so much to do in No Man's Sky. There was so much to do in Mass Effect, right? You know, Mass Effect, let's talk about that. Mass Effect. Is that an RPG? I don't even really know. I don't even know if Mass Effect is an RPG. I mean, it's more so of an RPG than what's come out as of late, obviously. But really, when you break it down, in Mass Effect 1, you can explore these planets, but there's no fucking reason to. It's actual just empty garbage. And obviously, if they have 1,000 planets in here, guys, I don't know how big the team is at Bethesda, but, they don't have the man hours to possibly go in and fine-tune every fucking planet. That would literally take decades, depending on the planet size. That would literally, so there has to be some fast-forward process here, procedural generation mixed with, some curated stuff sprinkled in. I think that's fair. That's how I would do it. If I worked at Bethesda, I would say, hey, let's tell the Planet team that this is what we're looking for. Procedural generation, and then we're going to come in and we're going to curate some stories, some villains, some this, some that, right there within these planets so that it feels a little bit more lived in. And it doesn't feel as soulless as a computer generating this shit. That's the problem with the modern era, is that all of this shit feels soulless. We don't want ChatGPT and this crap, quite frankly, because that's not made by a human. So it doesn't have character to it. It's going to feel soulless. Until ChatGPT and that AI neural net shit can get to a point where it's not only a lot more accessible and a lot more streamlined and a lot less robotic, right now it doesn't matter. That's my opinion on that. So we don't need this crap integrated into this just yet because it's too early. So I see some of these modders saying, oh, we integrated ChatGPT into Skyrim, and that's just, oh my God, it's revolutionary. It's the future of RPGs. And obviously, as that stuff gets more mature and people have more time with it and it gets, faster and better and more efficient and shit like that, maybe they will look into that. But right now, it's too early. It's too early. And it's still soulless. I've seen the videos of the ChatGPT fucking mod for Skyrim, and it looks soulless. It looks soulless. So I'd rather have pre-canned dialogue from passionate performers, and something that's curated by humans, and something that is made with passion, as opposed to some neural net shit. So, again, let's reiterate, folks. Starfield, potential game of the year, in my opinion. Again, we're going to be seeing this game in action on June 11th. We're going to get a boatload of new information, a boatload of probably new gameplay. It is going to be a massive day. If you're a fan of Xbox, Bethesda, classic RPGs, and whatnot, on June 11th, they're going to pull the curtain back, and they're going to show us a brand new updated look at Starfield. And I'm telling you, I don't think a lot of people are ready. I really don't, because, again, we don't know too much about this game. I mean, we really don't. You got to really dig through a bunch of interviews with Todd Howard and stuff like that to start putting the puzzle together. And even so, it's still not complete. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding this game. There's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of, well, we don't know how this works. We don't know how that works. Obviously, they showed this game off last year, and they showed it off. They showed it off. It wasn't like a quick little tidbit. They showed it off at least for 30 minutes or something like that last year, I believe. So they had a pretty decent showcase last year, except that the game obviously needed more time in the oven. And I think last year I came out and I said, guys, this game doesn't need to come out until maybe 2024, because it was looking rough last year. If you go back and watch that, and you can watch that 4K gameplay of Starfield last year, you go to the Xbox YouTube channel, you can watch the Starfield gameplay in 4K. It's a direct feed. on the Xbox YouTube channel. Starfield 4K gameplay last year. If you blow that up on a big screen and you watch that gameplay in 4K, you will start to see that, well, wait a minute here. There's no way that this game is ready for mass consumption. There's just no way. So last year I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed with Starfield. But this year I have hope. Yeah, and I truly believe that this is going to be probably one of the best games of this year. And I'll be even more confident in this game if I walk away on June 11th and say, wow, I was blown away with that presentation. I'll be even more confident in this fucking game. Now, if June 11th comes and what they show off is still kind of stuttery and it just doesn't look that impressive, then maybe this is going to be good, but it's not going to be great. I mean, there is a possibility like that, but I just can't see that happening. I can't see this game flopping. At worst, it won't be that successful because it's a new IP, it's space, and quite frankly, not everyone's interested in space. In my opinion, they should make a game about the fucking ocean. We don't know about the ocean. We know probably more about, we don't know about anything. Space, ocean, right here on planet Earth. There's a point, I don't even know what they call it, but there's a point on the Earth here where there's like no land for thousands of miles. I forgot what they call it. And that's where the space, the NASA stuff, that's where it lands in the ocean because there's nothing nearby. And that's like a huge mystery. I mean, we don't even know. So if they made a game about ocean and there's just so much you could do there. There's really so much you could do. Because I think that's scary. The depths of the ocean, I think that's scary. That's really an untapped. Maybe I should make a game about that. A horror game, kind of like the submarine game, but different, obviously. Because there's so much you could do with that. I mean, the depths of the ocean, who knows what's down there? We haven't ever been down there. Humans can't go down that far. You could barely make it to the Titanic. That's like 3 miles down. You know what I mean? And it costs millions of dollars to go down there. So who knows? Maybe Atlantis is real. The point is that not everyone might be interested in space. So therefore, this game has sort of its limited appeal right there. But, it's funny because everyone likes to see Star Wars. I mean, I've never seen a Star Wars film. I don't even know if they go to space. Or even if space is a big factor in those films. I don't know. I've never seen Star Wars. I know the characters, and that's about it. Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, R2-D2. I don't know who they are. Yoda. I mean, I can tell you the characters. I don't know who they are or what relationships they have or anything like that. Like Luke Skywalker was Darth Vader's son or some shit like that. Like, Luke, you are my father. Or Darth Vader was the son of Anakin. I don't even know. I've never seen them. I've never seen any of the Star Wars films. So I don't even know what they entail. I really don't. I ain't trolling. Never seen none of the Star Wars movies. None of them. Because it's like, the first one looks like a love story in space. And like there's this faction war going on or something. I don't know. Like I watched the trailer to the first Star Wars movie, and that's what I came away. It's like, it's a love story in space. That's what it is between Mark Hamill and Jodie. She died. What's her face? She passed away a few years ago. But Mark Hamill and that actress, they get in love, and they're in space, and I guess Darth Vader ruins it. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But nonetheless, that's how the cookie crumbles. So I'm going to go ahead and run the poll again, and we're going to see if we have updated thoughts here. Is Starfield let's see. Is Starfield going to be good? Let's see. We just started a new poll. Is Starfield going to be good? Again, we're going to get our brand new look at this game on June 11th, which is under a month. Of course, the Biosnow Games media is in here. Why would you prefer a movie game like Ghost of Tsushima? Why would you prefer slop like that over this? I don't get it. I don't understand. If you don't like space, that's one thing. Because not everyone's into the space thing. They've made a bunch of space games. Mass Effect, No Man's Sky, Outer Worlds, which is trash. I don't like that crap. So they've done that already. You know, the space genre, I wouldn't say is oversaturated, but there's a decent amount of space games to play. So if you're not into space, if you didn't watch Space Odyssey 2001 or Star Wars or some shit like that, then maybe this game won't float your boat. You know, if you're not interested in the outer galactic, then maybe this game won't float your boat. Who cares about frame rate? Guys, look, the game's not going to run at 60. I can tell you that right here and right now. Anyone with their thinking cap on is going to understand that this game is running at 30. No doubt about it. If Redfall can't even hit 30, 60, then it's obviously, on Series X, then obviously this game isn't. And that's okay. If they can lock the frame rate at 30 with very, very few dips, who cares? Why? Guys, I'm done. If you guys care about frame rate resolution, leave. I don't want you here. Go watch Digital Foundry. That's fake gamer crap. That's fake gamer talk. Guys, Zelda just came out. It runs at like 24 frames, if not lower in certain spots. And it's apparently Game of the Year. So you tell me how that makes sense. Nintendo gets the pass because it's on Switch, outdated hardware. Guys, Rockstar made, let me just put it to you this way. This is more impressive than Zelda running on the Switch. This is more impressive than Zelda running on the Switch. I need you to think about this, bro. People don't understand this. GTA 5 is a game that was developed with 2005 hardware in mind. Okay, I really need you to understand that. 512 megabytes of RAM. Terrible CPU, to today's standards, right? So, Rockstar made GTA 5 on Xbox 360. A 2005 console. That is unbelievable. And that just proves that hardware does not matter. Because initially, that's what it came out for. 360 and PS3. And we're still playing it 10 years later. And you guys are still on the Starfield hate train. You guys are still on the Starfield hate train. Why? You can't name one reason why this game is potentially going to be a blunder. The Starfield haters have nothing. They have nothing. They have no ammo. Now look, if they show it off again, which they will on June 11th, and it's not where it needs to be, then I can understand where you're coming from. But to say it's trash because you can't play it because you're a PlayStation fanboy, well, that's fantastic, right? That's not toxic. If the tables were turned and this were only on PlayStation, you would be shilling it. You would be shilling it so damn hard. You would be shilling it so damn hard. Name one good game that has come out this year. Name one good game this year. Name one good game that has come out this year. Because maybe I didn't play them all. I played all of the AAA slop.
It's over.
None of the games brought nothing new to the table. None of them. None of the games.
Bald Lesbian super chatted $4.99. PC gaming ruined gaming.
Yep.
Nobody cared about frames until PC nerds and media outlets took over. Everyone's favorite games from childhood are below 30. Princess.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We got decades of great software that doesn't hit 60 on its most popular platforms. San Andreas wasn't 60 frames on PS2. Hell no. Did that stop gamers from loving it? No. The shit didn't matter. Now all of a sudden it fucking matters. And now, since it's such a big factor These publishers are looking at the devs and saying, hey, you got to make sure that's at 60. Because they don't want to get bad press of the game running at below 60. To me, a game doesn't have to hit 60 if it can deliver. Obviously, 60 is preferred, but it depends on what the experience is. If we're looking for a cinematic experience, sometimes it's better not to have 60 because that shit looks like a fucking soap opera. They don't film movies at 60 frames. They film movies at 23.96 frames per second. That's what they film them at. They don't film movies at 60 because it's fucking soap opera shit. Looks like a soap opera on television. Doesn't look cinematic. So it depends on what the game is going for. Now, if you want like esports competition, obviously the game's going to have to hit 60. First-person shooter bullshit like that, yeah, it's got to hit 60. And we're going to end the poll here. It's tied. We couldn't make up our mind in here. We don't know. It's a big mystery. And that's why I said that's what's so interesting and fascinating right now about this game is that, heading up to the June 11th big unveil, we don't really know much about this game outside of what they've shown all last year. They've been pretty quiet. We have yet to see anything new outside of that announcement when Todd Howard came out like 2 months ago and said the game's coming out in September. And they showed a little bit in the background that was kind of blurry. So we don't really have a new look. And again, if ID software came in and helped with the combat and stuff like that, well, how could this fail? Every game is buggy. Every game is broken. Actually, that's not true. I mean, I'll tell you this, Zelda, you put it right in the Switch, it works. Not only that, but to me, I didn't experience anything that was wrong with it. And apparently speedrunners have not found any exploits to get their time up in terms of clipping and stuff like that. And it is a miracle. It is a miracle the wizards at Nintendo putting that system together and making it just work within that open world. I mean, I can't even fucking imagine. Because you hear game developers talking about how hard ladders are in games or how hard doors are in games, and it's like, if they can't do something simple like that, then could you imagine the Nintendo system where you can glue shit together and it just kind of fucking works? Like, someone is going to find a way to truly break that game if it hasn't been figured out already. But you put the game in the Switch and it just works. And I didn't download the day one patch. I still haven't for the damn thing. That's what I love so much about the Switch. You put the damn game in, and it just like Todd Howard says, it just works. Like Steve Jobs, it just works. You don't install anything. You don't have to download the day one update unless it's just totally fucking broken, which at that point you shouldn't have bought it. But it's just so convenient. Pop it in and play. Game's done. Well, you guys are not real gamers. Go watch Digital Foundry. Don't come over here. Guys, this game is going to be at 30. I can tell you that right here and right now. They're not going to announce that because why would you? Now, maybe after June 11th, we'll have a better understanding. But there's no reason to announce that this is running at 30 this far in advance. Because at the end of the day, we know the Biased Knowing Games media is ready to pounce on this game and say it's trash. And that Xbox has failed, and that's the current narrative, and Phil Spencer needs to step down, and Redfall was a total disaster. And guys, I played Redfall, and I have very little... Redfall is a perplexing game because, in my opinion, Arcane doesn't make the best games. I'm not a fan of their software. I don't think the games are just boring. They're weird. They're out there. Cool style, cool visual flair, I suppose, and some of their games like Deathloop, and they have that art style and stuff like that. But overall, I've never been a fan of Arcane. I don't think they make that spectacular of titles. So when I played Redfall, I was like, well, the bar is already pretty fucking low, and it's like, what are we seeing here in this game that makes it so terrible? I have yet to see any of that stuff. Oh, the AI is a little dumb. Well, that's
over.
Nothing new. It's 2023. AI has not advanced at all. Name one game that
lesbian
look at Fear 3.
$4.99. People have created mechs and fighter jets in Tears of the Kingdom.
Really?
Endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Princess Zelda.
Yeah, well, it's like Little Big Planet. It's like Little Big Planet. You go in and you create. You can glue stuff in Little Big Planet. And again, that was a game on PS3, you know? So hardware has never been the limitation. It hasn't been probably since the
It's
PS2.
over.
I think that's what we can come away with. And Luis Hernandez, in addition to Bald Lesbian, coming through here.
Luis Hernandez super chatted $10. If Starfield hits a grand slam, might save gaming fit the time being. Thank
Yeah.
you, world class, trying to push it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's better to be hopeful than to say this is trash because there's nothing else to look forward to. I've already said my two big games right now are Starfield and GTA 6. That's it. That's it. Starfield and GTA 6. Those are the only two games that I'm hopeful for. Everything else is just more of the same, or it's just regurgitated slop for $70, or it's a movie game. I really wish Kojima didn't make Death Stranding 2. Why do we need more of that? You know, it's just more of the same, always and always and always. And yeah, GTA 6 is going to have the GTA fundamentals in there, but when you see what Rockstar, I mean, I don't even want to get started with GTA 6. Please don't even get me started on that, because that isn't coming anytime soon. So right now, let them work on that game and let them perfect that. And when they're ready to pull the curtain back on GTA 6, it will break the internet. Absolutely. That's a game that's going to be next level. That's a game that's going to be forward thinking. That's a game that most people, quite frankly, don't fucking deserve. Because if you guys consume mediocrity over and over and over and over again, every single year, a game like GTA 6 is just, it's kind of too advanced for the audience of today. I don't think they can fully appreciate it. I mean, you could look at the leaks for GTA 6 and what people have found in the leaks for GTA 6 and just really what Rockstar is planning. I mean, it really is next level. It's not just a GTA 5 2.0. I mean, they're really reworking things. They're making things more detailed and realistic than ever before. I mean, it's really going to fucking blow people away. It's really going to be fucking, that's something special. But, you know, that's what I said. I said, look, if you know, these are the two games that are, you know, I mean, I just don't understand what's wrong here. You know, again, it's on Game Pass day one. I know people don't want to subscribe to Game Pass. They're you know, anti-subscription services, but pretty much every game is a subscription service at these days. It really is. Every game has an update. Does it not? Every game has updates. So therefore, it's a live service. It is, because you have to go on the internet to get that update. Every game is essentially a live service. Now, to be fair, you don't have to download, you know, updates for a lot of these games, actually. That's a misconception. A lot of people think you need to go on the internet. You don't. But, you know, a lot of the Sony games do this as well. You know, when Spider-Man came out on PS4, it didn't have photo mode. It didn't have all these extra bells and whistles. They added them over time. It's a live service game. You know, they sprinkle in features that, in my opinion, should have been there day one. I think the Dead Space remake has had updates as well. I don't know about content updates. But there are a few exceptions where you can just put the game in and play, and you don't really need the update. However, there is going to be an update. Name one game that has come out in the last decade that hasn't had an update. I don't think it exists. I truly don't believe it exists. Every game has had a update. So, therefore, every game is, we're kind of already in this connected sort of thing when you really think about it. I mean, you don't have, for a lot of these games, you really don't have to be on the internet. But you're missing out on features. You're missing out on extra bells and whistles if you don't. Performance optimization, stuff like that. So we're already in the already connected era. It's been like that for over a decade. You know, in the 360 days, they couldn't put out patches that were that big because no one had the fucking storage. You didn't download 20 gig updates, 40 gig updates, 50 gig updates. You didn't do any of that shit on 360 era, PS3 era. If anything, they were like 800 megabytes or something like that, if that even. It was very different, very different. Can you explain what an RPG is? It's a role-playing game. If you don't know what that means, then can't help you. That's what an RPG is. It's a role-playing game. It's a role-playing game. I don't have issues with updates. I don't have issues with updates. But I shouldn't feel like if I'm buying a single-player game that I shouldn't have to feel like I need to go on the internet to get more. Like when I buy the game, it should be there. Everything. You know, I shouldn't have to wait for this roadmap to be unveiled. I mean, even Mafia 3 had a roadmap. Like, why do we put out roadmaps for this crap? It doesn't make sense. If your game is a single-player game and it has a roadmap, it's probably trash. Or it's either controlled by the publisher because they want to make more money. And how do you make more money? You keep the game in the spotlight somehow, and it's a clever way to keep the game in the spotlight. If you're putting out a single-player game, it has a rise and it has a quick fall, quick drop-off, because people play it, they're done with it, and then they move on. In order to help with that is you take features out of the main game, and then you put them out over time for free. And the gamer says, wow, the developers are amazing. They did so much great work. So they basically took features out of the game that were obviously their day one, extracted it from the game, and then sprinkled them throughout the next 6 months to extend the shelf life of the game and have these, marketing campaigns boost it back up like, now with photo mode, now with permadeath, update 2.0, available now. That's what they do, and it's a very clever way to do it, to extend the shelf life of a single-player experience. Back in the day, publishers, developers did not have that opportunity. So it is a very different world. It is a very different world in the gaming space. Because when they shipped on PS2, there was you had to make sure that the game was where it needed to be. Otherwise, you are literally releasing a broken game that cannot be fixed. Once the Gold Master copy was made, that was it. It was truly the Gold Master. It was truly the final product. There is no final anymore because they continue to put out update until the game becomes irrelevant. So, and Starfield's going to have updates. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it will. It's probably going to have a plethora of updates. But I just don't understand how we came from a offline environment with gaming to an always online, always connected thing where we just rely on updates and roadmaps and bullshit like that to either fix the game or add in features that arguably should have been there day one. Like, if you're going to go out and buy, and no one buys on disc anymore, that shit's fading out. When PlayStation does their revision console, they're probably not going to have the disc drive in there, and that's going to be the final nail in the coffin. Once PlayStation says, we're not shipping, if this happens, of course we don't know, but if PlayStation, especially, if they come out and they say, hey, here's the PS5 revision or the PS5 Pro, there's no disc drive in it, that's the end of it. It's over. It really is over. Because once PlayStation pumps the brakes on that physical media shit and does away with it for good, it's over. And that's sad. Because if Starfield is a great game, I don't want to play it on Game Pass. I want to go out and buy it for $70. Absolutely. I want to go out and buy it for $70. I don't want to play this on Game Pass. If Starfield is that damn good, if it's truly that damn incredible, I don't want to play this on Game Pass. I will buy it, and I don't need to play this on Game Pass. I don't want to play it on Game Pass. I want to play that physical copy. I want to look at the manual, if it has one. Probably don't. But, it's Bethesda, right? They included map with Skyrim, Oblivion, yeah. So, maybe they'll make an exception. Rockstar has made exceptions with Red Dead Redemption 2. Guys, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out 5 years ago. They included a map with Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know if you got a manual too, I believe. But you definitely got a map for Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, when they put out GTA 5 again on PS5 last year, I believe, there was no map included. And that was the first time Rockstar did that, really, to be honest. No map, no manual, nothing. Now, with GTA 6, if they don't include a map with that, then we're talking about a soulless package. With Cyberpunk 2077, when you bought a physical copy, and no one in here did that because, you guys are all digital. It's trash. It's killing the industry. It's DRM. You don't own anything. Guys, I own Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I got a physical copy of that. I can put that in the Switch anytime, any day, and it works. Not that, I don't know how the Switch works, but, you just have to understand that physical is better. Only if the game is good. See, that's the new thinking that I have. I only buy physical games when they're that damn good. Or unless we want to see how broken it is. Because we want to see the Gold Master copy that they ship. But if Starfield is that damn good, I would prefer a disc copy. Absolutely. If there is going to be a disc copy. I'm assuming there would be, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's not going to be. Maybe it's digital only. I don't know. I'm assuming there's going to be a physical copy. But we just don't know right now. But like I said, this is the biggest game for me of the year. And on June 11th, we don't have to wait until September. This is why we're talking about this now, guys. This is why we're talking about this now. On June 11th, they're going to pull the curtain back on this game, and they're going to show us a updated look, and a better look, quite frankly, of Starfield. And when you look at the kind of highlights here, these are the ones that I just thought of and are facts. I'm sure there's a lot more. It sounds exciting, at least on paper. It really does. And again, last year they showed it off, and I wasn't too impressed. I didn't think it looked too hot. But that was coming, with the context of, they delayed this. They delayed Starfield 1 month before they showed it off at that Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. They delayed Starfield before they showed it off at the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase. So I knew going in that, wait a minute, this don't make much sense. Because they pumped the brakes on Starfield 1 month before they showed it off at the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. So I already knew going in that, wait a minute, this ain't going to add up. Or they're not confident in it. And, it looked pretty rough. It really did. Last year, the game looked rough. I have a feeling that the game is not going to look as rough. I'm hoping not. Because if it looks as bad or as underdeveloped as it did last year, I'm going to put it on the back burner again. I'll still have hope, but my hype will definitely deflate. So June 11th is a big day. June 11th is a huge day, not only for Xbox in general, but for this separate Bethesda showcase showcasing Starfield, this separate Starfield Direct. I believe that's what it's called, the Starfield Direct on June 11th. They're going to finally show us this game. They're going to finally answer a lot of questions that we have about this game, and I think they're probably going to finally demonstrate it in a way that makes sense outside of just, a few minutes of stuff right here and there. They showed off a decent amount last year. They showed off a good chunk of the game last year. So that gave us a foundation. But when they come out on June 11th, I think they're going to show us off something that is just a lot more spectacular. And I'm hoping it's fantastic. And again, if they had help from the Doom Eternal studio, if that rumor is true, if they had help from the Doom Eternal studio, that's even better. Because the Doom Eternal studio can do combat. And if they stepped in and said, hey, let's help out Bethesda and shit like that, well, then that makes it even better. That makes it even better. Now, not that I'm a fan of Doom Eternal because, that's a pretty repetitive game, but you understand what I'm saying. If they can iron out some of that jank, some of that, some of the underpolished sections and moments of last year's gameplay, and when they show it off again this year, in less than a month on June 11th, then I think it's going to be a lot more fantastic, and I think there's going to be a lot more hope. Well, I don't understand. I mean, if the digital game is the same price as the physical game, and the physical game has like stickers and fucking map and a map with it too, it's like, yeah, we're buying that over to fucking digital any day. Obviously, the convenience is there with digital, and again, Game Pass. The game has to be good for me to care about buying a physical copy. When GTA 6 comes out, I want that physical copy. I want that physical copy of GTA 6. Your game collection will rot and die with you. Jesus Christ. Take that Doomer shit elsewhere. Who cares? DRM. When these services go offline, you ain't playing any of those games. Eventually, Steam will not exist. In the next 100 years, guys, this shit's not going to exist someday. I know you don't think that, but it's true. You think Steam is going to exist in 100 years? It's not going to happen. In 100 years from now, you think Steam is going to exist? I mean, maybe. But what if it doesn't? What happens to your library? They're just probably going to refund you it all, like Stadia did. If you bought a game on Google Stadia, well, they said we're closing it down. So, look, yeah, but I'm fine with that because to be frank, I haven't played one good game this year. Name one good game in the chat that I missed. I played Hogwarts Legacy. I played Dead Island 2. I played Resident Evil 4 Remake. I played Dead Space Remake. I played... What haven't I played this year? I played almost all of the big games this year, and I haven't played one good game this year. I haven't played one good game this year. I haven't played one good game this year. Hi-Fi Rush, I haven't played it. Maybe that's the only good game. I played Tears of the Kingdom. It's good. I had a lot of fun with it, but then it got boring. If you're not creative in Tears of the Kingdom, then look, if you're not creative and you already played Breath of the Wild, in my opinion, the game doesn't offer anything new at that point. If you're not a creative person and you jumped from Breath of the Wild, if you played Breath of the Wild and you know that game from back to finish or whatever, and you jump into Tears of the Kingdom and you're not creative, I don't know if you're going to have that much fun. Because according to, I've never played Breath of the Wild, but I'm still bored of it. It's just like if they made their own game and they did if it was just like pure Sky Island or something totally, I was having fun until I got to the mainland, and I said I wanted to get to mainland because the tutorial was dragging a little bit, because it's a long tutorial. It's a long tutorial, a couple hours long. So I was like, let's get to the mainland, let's get to the mainland, let's get to the mainland. We get down to the mainland, and there's nothing but fucking grass and fields and shit, and it's like, and then they spam this, like, these building fucking places, and it's like, what is this game? It's just... Hogwarts Legacy's trash. Resident Evil 4 Remake is very mid. Let's put it that way. Very mid. Talk about PS5 Pro. What is there to say? Who cares about technology? Rockstar was able to make GTA 5 on 512 megabytes of fucking RAM. Technology does not matter. We peaked at the PS2 era when photorealistic graphics came into play. Period, end of story. Technology does not matter. It is a fallacy. Quit buying so much into specs and teraflops and bullshit like that. Clearly it doesn't matter, and it hasn't mattered in years. Decades. Rockstar made GTA 5 on 2005 hardware. A game you're still playing in 2023. The foundation of that game is still rooted in 2005 hardware. That is fucking insane. Nearly 20-year-old hardware, and you're still playing that fucking game. That is absolutely asinine. You're still playing a game that was architected on fucking 2005 hardware. And it's $1 billion game. If that doesn't make sense, then I don't know what to tell you. Now, I get it. They've updated things, and, it's a 60 frames and first-person mode and all this shit and ray tracing now and all that. Great, but the game is still rooted with the architecture of the 2005 hardware in mind. Is it not? Did they totally remake GTA 5? No, they didn't. So as such, you're essentially playing a 2005 game in 2023, and it's $1 billion game. Hardware doesn't matter. End it, because that's bullshit. So when you see GTA 6, you're going to see something totally different. You're going to. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Guys, type it in. GTA 6 leaks. You will see what I'm talking about. Yes, the Xbox 360 came out in 2005. There were no revisions of the Xbox 360. I mean, there were, but there was no Xbox 360 Pro. There was Xbox 360 Elite and certain things like that. And I'm sure they boosted the clock speed a little bit or what have you, but nothing substantial, nothing major. From the first Xbox 360 in 2005 to the last Xbox 360 in 2013, I believe, it's the same fucking console. They never had Pro editions that had totally different fucking shit going on with them. You know, I'm sure it had a few higher clock speeds with the different iterations and better cooling and you know, the Jasper chips and all this fucking, you know, 360 shit. But what I'm saying is that the 2005 hardware is not very different from the 2013 360. The 2005 Xbox 360 is the same as the 2013 Xbox 360. The games perform the same. There was never a Pro edition of Xbox 360. So you are GTA 5 is literally a 2005 essentially game. I mean, it was a game that was made on 2005 hardware. I'm just blown away. And we're still playing it. But I mean, I guess people are still playing World of Warcraft, and that came out like 2002 or some shit, right? 2005, 6, I don't know. So I guess it's not that crazy. Counter-Strike, I don't know. People are still playing that crap. Came out in 1995 or something, I don't know. No, GTA 6 is not going to. GTA 6 is going to be obviously next gen only. But that's why they don't need to make it yet, because right now the market is still, no one wants, there's no reason to buy these consoles. Sony has yet to put out anything great on these consoles. Xbox is Game Pass now. So, yeah, you can get the Series X, you can get the Series S. It's about what you're looking for and what you can afford. Yeah, nearly 20-year-old hardware, $1 billion game. Yeah, GTA 5 is on the PS5. I understand that, buddy. GTA 5 is on the PS5. But is the game totally different? It isn't. If you play the 360 version of GTA 5 to the new version of GTA 5, yes, they have a bunch of new bells and whistles, but the architecture of the game was made with 2005 hardware in mind. Was it not? It was developed for that hardware. So you're telling me they just secretly updated GTA 5? They rewrote the whole game? Come on now. Like, I'm not a game dev, but I'm just telling you, like, that's what the damn game came out for. 2005 hardware. The 360 is from 2005. The end of 2005. Nice. The hardware peaked a long time. The hardware peaked. Oblivion is from 2006, and it's more advanced and sophisticated than Cyberpunk could be. So you look at this, and it's just a recipe for success here. Todd Howard is coming in like Emeril Lagasse, and he's cooking up that spaghetti like no other. And it's going to be great. It's going to taste fantastic if the ingredients come together in a way that makes sense. Absolutely. 1,000 explorable planets, 4 major cities. These cities are bigger than anything they've ever done. So bigger than the cities in Skyrim, bigger than the cities in anything they've ever done. More dialogue than Fallout 4. And, you know, someone came in here and said they had like 120-something thousand lines of dialogue in Fallout 4. Oh, they got more. They got more here. Creation Engine 2, so obviously a better version, better engine of what they were working with in Fallout 4. Next gen only, of course. Game Pass day one. I mean, I just don't understand what's not to like here. It's Game Pass day one. There's not a $60, $70 price of admission. If it sucks, well, it's on Game Pass. But again, the biased Snowy Games Media, since this is available on Steam, they're ready to downvote this game. They're ready to one-star this game. They're ready to say that this game is trash. They're not going to give this game a chance. I mean, that's the reality of it. That's the political side. The fanboyism stuff is sad. Because if this were only on PlayStation, they would be giving it the time of day. They'd be kissing this game's ass. They would be kissing this game's ass. They would be 1,000 empty planets. What do you want them to do? Delay the game? You can't possibly curate 1,000 planets and handcraft 1,000 planets. If they were going to do that, they should have scaled it to 50 planets. They should have said, if they wanted to handcraft every planet, there's just no way you can actually go in there and do that. There's no way. The game would be 20 years in the making, 40 years in the making. There's no way. 1,000 planets, if you handcraft, I don't know how big the planets are going to be. We don't know. I mean, I don't know how big the planets are going to be. But if the planets are massive, then there's no damn way. But if you basically tell the computer to generate 1,000 planets and then you go back in and sprinkle some shit within, then I think that's doable. If you know, as long as they reward the player for exploration in a way that's actually satisfying and not just, hey, we found this new thing. You know, like, let's tell a story. Give me a story. And that's what this shit is. You know, that's why Oblivion is so fantastic. That's why Red Dead Redemption 2 sucks. There's no story. I mean, there's a story, and that's really what the game focuses on. But the side missions are trash. Like, nothing's good about that game. I can't remember one... outside of the brother and sister family in that, like, there's just nothing in Red Dead Redemption 2 that's memorable compared to the, and to me that's the problem that Skyrim had as well. Oblivion had a lot more memorable shit. You had the annoying fan, you had the painting mission, and I haven't even seen everything in fucking Oblivion. So if they really wanted to go in with Starfield and handcraft every planet, they would probably have to go with something like 50 handcrafted planets. And you could, sell that and say, hey, we went in individually and handcrafted, curated 50 planets. But that's not what they're going for here because, you're going to have some quantity. It's a space game, but you also don't want to go overboard to a stupid, silly amount where it just feels like total soulless. So I think they're trying to strike a balance here with Starfield in terms of crafted stuff and also procedural generated stuff. I think they're trying to find a balance. And I think 1,000's fair, but it really, it is going to depend on how, if the planets are empty and it's like Mass Effect 1, then it is going to be boring. I'm not going to say it's not. If it is like No Man's Sky where it's like, well, yeah, the vegetation's different on this planet and the atmosphere is different. It's like, well, that's cool, but it just starts to feel monotonous. It starts to feel like you're just playing a computer simulation video game. And that's what you are playing, but you want to cast the immersion over the player that it says something very interesting on the back of the box on Oblivion. It's like, live your life within this game. That's basically what it says on the back of the box on Oblivion. And that's really the goal that you're trying to do, in my opinion. You want the player to basically live within that game and feel totally immersed, unequivocally immersed, where they put the devices down, they put the cell phone down, and they just get right into that gaming experience like no other. And that's what you're striving for, in my opinion. That's what you're striving for, in my opinion. And it's been years since that experience has come together. Yeah, I know 1,000 planets is a lot, but guys, it's space. Space is infinite. Space is infinite. So you have to strike a balance between curated planets, but also not feeling, soulless computer-generated slop.
Butters super chatted $5. Todd Howard talks about the size and how filled they're going to be in an interview with Lex Fridman.
I watched it. It's a great interview. A lot of people in here need to watch that interview. It's a great interview. I forgot what he said. I think he said I don't remember, and I don't want to misquote, but I think he said something like the player is going to know when it's like I don't know. I don't remember. I watched it, but I don't remember the exact, and I don't want to say something that I'm not 100% on. So, no, I watched it. It's a great interview, and I might have to rewatch it to get hyped. Guys, No Man's Sky was made on, the PS4 came out in 2013. There's 1 trillion planets in that game, or more. There's like a gazillion planets in No Man's Sky. But it's sold us. It's like, yeah, you can go to this planet and look at it, and you got a different atmosphere, you got a different vibe, and it's like, well, that's cool, but is there really anything interesting going on here? It's like Minecraft. I mean, guys, we've already developed the technology to do this. It's been in the you know what I mean? It's like it is actually a lot more than 1,000. Well, that's why I said that. I said over 1,000 explorable planets. Yeah, there's going to be more. It says that on their website. You can go to the Starfield website. It says over 1,000. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, there's going to be more than 1,000, but I think that's guys, this is going to be a massive game. It's going to be a massive game. But I don't know if this era of gaming, of gamers are maybe ready for something like that. I mean, obviously, Tears of the Kingdom is big. That's a 150-hour game, if you want to make it a 150-hour game. If not longer than that, 200 hours, 250 hours, 300 hours. But for a classic Bethesda title to come back and say, hey, we got a brand new IP, literally years in the making, Todd Howard at the forefront, Game Pass day one. I don't know what there is to not, like, yeah, no shit, the game's going to have bugs. Like, you cannot make a video game that doesn't have bugs. It's literally impossible. It is literally impossible. Unless you were to develop, like, in the next 25 years, an AI that goes through and just runs through it to find any bugs or clipping issues and exploits, shit like that. There's just no way. That's why if I were making a game, I would hire the top speedrunners to break my game because they know what to look out for. And then you go in and you patch it before the game even comes out. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. If I were making a game
It's
and we
over.
didn't want people to speedrun it, I'd hire a speedrunner to speedrun it so they could break it, and then you patch it before the Master Gold release.
Super chatted $7.99. Here's some coin to help pay for in-game purchases in Star Trash.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, there's a rumor that the game's going to have microtransactions. I didn't read it. I don't know what it entails, but someone said that there's going to be like, aren't there microtransactions in Fallout and stuff like that? It's from the Creation Club. It's the modding stuff, I thought. I don't know. I'm not going to play the game online, dude. I don't play online. I'm not going to connect to the internet when I play this game. Because I want to see the game on the disc. If there is a disc version, I don't know why there wouldn't be, but who knows? As we're getting more and more into the pure digital era, and everyone's fine with it. Back in 2013, they said Don Matrick said, if you don't have internet, buy a 360, and I thought he was based. Don Matrick not only was hot, but I thought, wow, Don Matrick is talking sense. He basically said, go fuck yourself if you don't care about always online. And, that's the mentality to have, because guess what? It happened anyway. It happened anyway. Xbox One was still an always online console. Series X is still an always online console. If you buy a Series X right now, and you try and play it without internet, it's literally a paperweight brick. No, I'm not even joking. It is literally, like, I don't think people understand that. And it is just absolutely asinine. You literally have to connect to the internet. You literally have to connect to the internet just to get the system up and running. PS5 you don't, Nintendo Switch you don't, but the Xbox has always been like that since the Don Matrick era. And when Don Matrick came out and said, hey, we have a console for you. It's Xbox 360. I thought that was based. At least he was telling the damn truth. So, but gamers have succumbed to that, and now they love the always online environment. They love being always connected because they feel less lonely. And they love these roadmaps. They love these microtransactions. They love this free content that was basically gutted from the main game so they can have more of a marketing campaign for the game. They love all that crap. That's what they love. So they have got on their knees and they said, yes, please, more. We are ready to consume. They don't care about owning their games. They don't care about DRM unless it's a talking point, for about a week, if that, a couple of days. Like, oh, yeah, the Xbox can't do this, the Xbox can't do that. But, I think PlayStation 4 had that issue where it's like if the battery inside of it dies, you can't play games offline. I don't know if that was ever fixed. I don't think it was. I believe the PS5 might be different, though. But the PlayStation 4, if your PlayStation 4, if the CMOS battery dies in your PlayStation 4, I believe you won't be able to play physical games even offline if the CMOS battery dies. I'm not kidding, unless they fixed it. This was discovered like 2 years ago. Unless they fixed it. I mean, I don't think they have, but maybe they have. Regardless, that's the situation. So on PS5, though, I believe they fixed it because I think someone went into their PS5 and they pulled out the CMOS battery and the game still worked offline. So, but I know it's a pointless conversation because it's just, the modern gamers, this is what they grew up with, the online environment. They don't even know they don't even care. Why would they care? I mean, why would they care, really, to be honest? If I grew up in this generation, why would I care about owning discs? Why would I care? I mean, I already don't, really. But if it's a quality game or if it's like a game that's like, we need GTA 6, hold it in our hand, and it's a big, there are exceptions, but for the most part, it's like, I want to play this slop on Game Pass or, some service because it's just, quite frankly, not worth $60, $70. Either the game's broken or it's just the same game that we've already played. So, again, we're going to recap right here because the battery is getting low. I got 10% on the battery out here. We're going to have to wrap this up very shortly here. Okay, we're going to have to wrap this up very shortly here. But in under a month, on June 11th, Todd Howard is going to pull the curtain back on his potential magnum opus, and therefore, in my opinion, this has the potential to be Game of the Year. Over 1,000 explorable planets, 4 major cities bigger than anything they've ever done before, more dialogue than Fallout 4, Creation Engine 2.0, an iteration of the Fallout 4 engine, Creation Engine, next gen only, Game Pass day one. I mean, I just don't know what there is to not. I mean, I just kind of don't get it. I just don't get the hate. I don't get the skepticism surrounding this game. It's on Game Pass, guys. Like, some people might not even know what Game Pass is. I know someone who owns an Xbox that does not subscribe to Game Pass, and I thought, well, that doesn't maybe make sense. It's like, that's why you get the box, to subscribe to Game Pass. That's why you get the box, to subscribe to Game Pass. Because if you're buying these games at $60, $70, I mean, well, nothing against that, but some of these games are just not that fantastic, and you're getting a better deal on Game Pass. I don't subscribe to Game Pass on a monthly basis because there's no software. The output of software is just lacking. There's no software. So that's why I'm not a current. Well, I am. I subscribed to Game Pass to see Redfall. I wanted to see how Redfall. How terrible that game was. So I resubscribed to Game Pass. Yeah, it's time to get hyped. June 11th is going to be big. And not only just for Starfield, but for Xbox, Bethesda as well. And, Ubisoft is going to hold their event right around that time frame as well. So there's a lot going on within the next month or so. So you guys, you got to get ready. It's E3 time. There's going to be a lot of publishers coming out with their showcases, for the next Ask Read, stuff like that, Ubisoft. So there's just going to be a lot of stuff. But I think this game is going to impress. I see no reason why it won't, and especially if it looks better than what it did last year. Because last year I threw it on the back burner and I said, well, last year at this time we didn't have a release date for this game. Now we do, September. The game's coming out in September. Could be delayed still, of course. They can always push it back further, and if they need to, that's fair.
It's over!
But with that said, it is coming out in September, and they're going to pull the curtain back on June 11th, under a month.
Death cited 666 super chatted $5. Starfield would be 10 cents if it was available on the PS5, so sad.
Yep, that's the truth. That's the Bias No Games media for you. They would shield this game to the moon and back and say Todd Howard's the best in the world, and this, that, the third. And that's just the reality of it. Yeah, if this were on PlayStation, they would eat it up and say, wow, we can't wait to play this magnum opus from Todd Howard, this classic RPG that's so deep and easily 100 hours, 200 hours, 300 hours into this game and stuff like that. They would be shilling this, absolutely. Absolutely. But, again, they don't want to give it the time of day because, well, the industry's biased. Well, not the industry, but the review culture and journalist culture is they give Sony the bonus points. That's just what they prefer, so it is what it is. All right, that is going to do it, folks at home. That is going to do it. We do appreciate you guys for tuning in, tagging along, supporting the show. And with that said, we will prepare for June 11th as they will be pulling the curtain back soon for Starfield. And it looks to be, hopefully, the next big thing that truly delivers in a way that makes sense. Again, that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, tagging along, supporting the show. And with that said, it's over. Hey there, mister. Who let the simpleton out of the asylum?